this is all wrong, I shouldn't be up here. I should be back in school on the other side of the ocean. Yet you all come to us young people for hope. How dare you?
Boring. 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 Boring.
You got it work. Don't tell us what we're going to feel. We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because you're in no position to dictate that.
That's exactly what you're doing.
You're in no position to dictate what we're going to feel.
I call again for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza, the return of the sausages, the hostages.
Welcome to another edition of Lembit Öpik Live with me, Lembit Öpik, here on Unprecedented TV. Thanks once again for your loyalty and for sharing what we're putting out here with likes and reposting as well. You are absolutely welcome to share this on any forum, any way you like. There's no copyright problem. I'm just grateful that you're helping us here at Unprecedented TV get a wider audience. We are the home of free speech central, if you like, where anything goes as long as it's clean and not illegal. I've been also working very hard to get new programs live and also pre-recorded in some cases for you as well. More to say about that as the days and weeks go by. If you're watching this from the archive, I hope you find this interesting. It's all there for you to watch and enjoy, and feel free to share there again. If you want to give me some feedback and suggest what other shows you might like us to make, then let us know. Also, you can get involved in the chat. I tend to respond most often on X at Lembit Öpik, but you can find other ways to be in touch as well. The main thing is we don't want to beat the mainstream media. We want to be the mainstream media. And so we're doing it step by step, the building blocks of a TV station, which has you at its heart. So thanks very much indeed. Do like and do share, do repost. Big question, though. The question is this. Can Nigel Farage be the next Prime Minister? He is the leader of Reform. And I've had a series of interesting conversations with different people about this in the past. And fundamentally, the question I often ask is, does his party have what it takes to make the grade in winning an election? As always, let me share my point of view, and it is just my point of view. You can agree or disagree. I think Reform UK has performed something of a landslide turnaround in British politics by usurping, by overtaking the old Uni Party. What's the old Uni Party? That's Conservative Labour and Liberal Democrat. They seem to have much more in common than what separates them. And one thing they've got in common is they don't seem to do a very good job of government. The failurous attempt by Nick Clegg, as regular viewers know, I think he was the worst leader in the history of my old party, the Liberal Democrats, just falling into line behind David Cameron, giving us a one-party system, which had two parties in it, the Conservatives, and then that joker who pretty much ruined the Lib Dems for over a decade. Then we've got the Labour Party, who came in with a fanfare of promises of change. Who knew it would be changed for the worse, not the better? Yes, Keir Starmer has underperformed on just about every measure. So many U-turns, he's going round in circles. Well, the new kid on the block is going strong. Nigel Farage has led Reform UK to a situation where they have the majority, the largest proportion of votes in the country. It's still not over 50%. But it's easily where the Labour Party was when they won their gargantuan majority in 2024. Many say this game, this party has just begun and is going to go further. I wonder, are they organised enough on the inside? I do see signs of them taking that question very seriously and building in a methodical way around the country. In my opinion, if they do that, there's a very good chance that Nigel Farage does have a chance at making it to number 10 Downing Street as the next Prime Minister. But what are the pitfalls? Joining me now to talk about all of this is a stalwart in the Reform UK party. That's Alan Cook. He's been with us before. Alan, very good to see you. Thanks so much for joining us on the programme.
Hi, Lembit. Thank you for having me on the programme. And your Twitter handle, was it at Lembit Öpik?
That's right, yes. Why do you
how
ask?
did you get that? No, I was just amazed. It's not at Lembit Öpik 273 or something like that. You know, it's
Because
amazing. You must have got in early.
I got in 2009. My foresighted staff said, you have to go on Twitter. And I said, what's Twitter? They said, just do it. So, yes, I was an early adopter, would you believe? 2009,
right.
yes, 16 years ago. Who knew that this would become so central? I'd never thought about it until you just said it there, yeah. At Lembit Öpik. But then at Unprecedented TV, again, the reason we chose that name is because unprecedented is the most, in my view, most overused word on news reportage. So we thought, let's own that actually and see what happens. But thank you, Alan. I'm very pleased that I've got something right in the strange world of media and social media.
Yeah. Well, I was actually pulling your leg a little bit. How many Lembit Öpiks are there out there?
There's one. I'm the only person on earth with my particular name.
Well, there you go.
As I've mentioned before, by a strange coincidence, it turns out to be an anagram of the phrase, I like to be MP. Who knew?
Wow.
I know.
Well, maybe your viewers can find an anagram of Alan Cook. There we go.
I will do, but I can't do it while I'm on air, and probably will need to use a middle name if you have one. Have you got a middle name?
Yeah, Alan.
Alan Cook.
No, my first name's actually Terence, but there you go.
Oh, I see. That's great.
A lot of people know that.
That's got good vowels and consonants.
Yeah, we can come up with something, I'm sure.
Another exclusive there. So the question I've got for you is a pretty simple one. Is Nigel Farage the next Prime Minister of the United Kingdom?
Probably not. It's probably going to be Angela Rayner.
I see what you did there. Angela Rayner. Well, she's in a bit of hot water.
They should bring Diane Abbott back and have her as Chancellor. So then we have Lamy, Foreign Secretary, Diane Abbott, Chancellor, and Angela Rayner, Prime Minister. Wow. What a world we're in.
A winning combination.
There
a winning combination. I suspect there's a tiny amount of cynicism, or maybe not cynicism, playfulness there. What would you think? What would you think of Prime Minister Angela Rayner?
Well, more to the point is, what would the rest of the world think of Prime Minister Rayner? I mean, come on. I hope it doesn't happen, but I hope we wouldn't get Starmer. So, my wishes aren't always answered. But, we're already the laughing stock of the world when it comes to what's going on with our government. So I think if it does get worse, it's only going to make it better, because we'd just make people laugh a little bit more.
Let's look at.
Britain is broken. We're in a hell of a place, and it's getting worse as well, a lot worse. And the economy is being destroyed, and they're doing everything in their power to make it worse as well. You can never tax yourself to growth. And we have people like the leader of the Liberal Democrats, a certain Mr. Edward Davey, who thinks that clowning around is a way to highlight that this country is in dire straits, one of the worst sort of conditions it's ever been in. We're going back to the 1970s and the Labour Party and the massive strikes across the board in just about every industry. And so clowning around is the way a politician should behave to actually garner votes. So, no, our political status at the moment is probably a laughing stock in the world, but at least we have a little bit of hope with Reform UK that there's light at the end of the tunnel. There's a way out of this. And, that to me, I'm putting a lot of time, effort and money into this for my kids. So, there is hope for them and safety for them, because the UK is becoming more and more unsafe by the day.
Let's go back to Angela Rayner for a minute. Let's see if we can cue up the video of Angela Rayner, since you've mentioned it. Angela Rayner's got herself into rather hot water with unions. So if we can play that. Yeah, we've got it. We'll play something here. Let's talk about this afterwards. The context here is Angela Rayner seems to have rather annoyed or bitten the hand that feeds her. Watch this.
Durham Miners' Gala, a celebration of the coal miners of the past and their unions who are trying to shape the Labour Party's future. Unite has given Labour millions in donations, but its boss Sharon Graham is threatening to drop their support, claiming Labour is abandoning its members.
Every time I'm speaking to people up and down the country, whether I'm going into a hairdresser's or whether I'm on a picket line or whether I'm in a negotiation, are saying, what is Labour doing? How can they be in a position that they are attacking elderly people, that they're attacking disabled people, that you've got a situation where I've got 2 oil refineries closing within a matter of months? Where is the backing of workers in Britain? That's what I'm asking. Now, I'm a General Secretary of a union. That is my main concern. I'm not here to make Labour look good. I am here to defend workers, and I expect the Labour Party and now the Labour government to do the same.
Angela Rayner, here on the campaign trail, had been personally funded by Unite, but on Friday they announced they were suspending her as a member. This is all part of an ongoing row about bin workers in Birmingham who went on strike earlier this year, leaving residents to endure months of unsanitary conditions. Angela Rayner has urged them to accept a pay deal, which the union says they should reject, claiming workers could be left thousands of pounds out of pocket. Tensions between Labour governments and trade unions are nothing new, but this has quickly got very bitter. A Labour source described Unite's actions as a silly stunt and said that Angela Rayner won't be pushed around. Labour are concerned that cash-strapped Birmingham Council doesn't take on any more costs, but cutting ties with Unite could mean the party's finances suffer. At the gala in Durham, strongly linked with the left, disillusionment with the government.
Not happy at all with Labour, and I've voted Labour all my life.
Pretty soon after he came in, the confidence has gone very quickly.
The Labour Party was supported by the unions for years, and now look at it. The unions is leaving them in droves. No, total disaster.
Well, total disaster. Total disaster. Tends to back up what you were saying, Alan.
Yeah, we've seen it all before. If you're old enough, remember the 70s. This is what tends to happen with a Labour government. But what it's going to be worse this time because that we had the Blair Brown Labour government, and then after that we had the 14 years of the Tories. And what the Tories normally inherit is a poor economy and a lot of constitutional damage, and then they tend to reverse that and actually improve the economy, and then it's Labour's turn again, and Labour get in, they inherit a good economy, and then they start their constitutional damage again. But this time round it never happened. We had a whole suite of Tory leaders, and we had a Tory government that seemed to be wet the whole way through, and it was just another global socialist government. And now we have a Labour government, which is another global socialist government. So we've had 3 socialist governments on the trot. So this time it's going to be deep. We're ready for economic turmoil, and it's not going to be good. It's not going to be pretty, and it's not as if you can't see it coming. It's blinking obvious. But every socialist thinks their little tweaks they do to the socialist system is going to be the one. Their little tweak is going to be the tweak that actually makes it work for the first time ever. It's never worked before in any country anywhere. They inherit a working economy and then trash it. But they all believe that their little tweaks are going to be the ones that this time makes it work. So,
you've been quite clear that you're not too impressed with the prospect of having Angela Rayner as our next Prime Minister, but there are other options, and I'm not sure why you've discounted them. One possibility would be this fellow here. I mean, that's an artist's impression. That might not be completely accurate. No, can we put that up again?
Let's put that. So I want waiting for his mint.
Yeah. There you go. Thank you. Yeah, I think that might be a little bit fanciful. But his department, it's not just him, but his department ran up a £500,000 bill in the first couple of hundred days of them being in office. It's been slightly misrepresented. He hasn't personally munched his way through £500,000, but it's not a great look anyway. David Lammy fancies himself as leader, perhaps?
Oh, that's news to me.
Well, maybe I'm wrong.
Well, no, I don't know. But to be honest, it's any of the cabinet are potential. So we can have a bit of fun with this. I think Starmer himself is hilarious to have as a prime minister. So any one of them, I don't think it's not going to make much difference. The problem with the Labour Party is not the leader. So whichever person you put in power, it's not going to make an awful lot of difference. The problem with the Labour Party is the Labour Party. It's the ideology. And, we are not a socialist country. So you try and put these, the heavy socialist dogma into the economy and it won't work and it will fail. And what they haven't done this time is actually inherited a decent economy. So they're on a loss from day one.
Yeah.
So it's whatever they do, whoever the leader is, it's actually quite serious because we're going to be paying for this for the next decades. It's the next generation that's going to pay for the damage that they're doing now. But it's a jolly for them, quite clear.
I have to say, I'm tremendously disturbed by the extent of damage that they have done. Regular viewers know that I was appalled by what I think is the voting for infanticide, the right to kill an unborn baby up to the point of birth.
But both unforgivable. They're doing it at the older perspective and at the younger perspective as well. This is Logan's Run on steroids.
Logan's Run being a film from some time ago, which actually talked about some of these subjects, and that was from the 1970s. Yeah. I was in favour of assisted dying. My father died of motor neuron disease, very difficult disease to cope with. But my concern now is the politicization of death. The fact that you can see there could be pressure from the government itself, which might say or imply, you're way past your usefulness now. Maybe the right thing for you to do is to think about moving on. I would never have thought about that. I never would have thought that I would even fear that, Alan. But now I feel that we've got a government that just doesn't care.
Yeah, I fear for David Norris Richardson, because if his initials are on his chart in hospital, he's going to be done for. But they are now
gallows humour. There's gallows humour. but apparently, I was speaking to. I haven't checked that I can share this, so I won't name the person on air. But I was speaking to somebody who suffered a very serious health condition. I saw him recently, and his wife told me that they had told her, "We will not resuscitate." And she said, "Why not?" I said, "No, because his quality of life will be no good." She said, "You will resuscitate." Yeah. And she got other opinions. I think you may know the person. I don't want us to name him because we haven't checked and it's a personal thing. But she got second opinions. She absolutely fought for the life of her husband, who has made a tremendous recovery and has some health complaints, but he's all there and he's thriving. And they were ready to kill him because they thought he wouldn't have a quality of life. He was very much alive and kicking when I saw him, but that made me
very happy and jocular and cheerful, and he's massively got his wits about him. He's sharp. So 100%, and that that really brings it home how wrong they are, and how government overreach. It's reaching into every aspect of our life now. The government should back off, let us live, stop banning smoking. If people are daft enough to smoke, like my gracious leader here, it's it's up to them. I've never been a smoker, but I am partial to a pint or two.
Is that actually Nigel Farage behind you there? He's keeping very still.
Yeah, he's contemplating things. So what he's going to do when he's in number 10, obviously he may not be the next prime minister, but he'll be the next prime minister from a different party, without a doubt, I think.
I want to turn to him now. I watched something on the mainstream media. That's what I want to be. I want unprecedented TV to become the mainstream media. I don't want to beat them. I want to be them. And I was watching this interview by Laura Koonsberg on the BBC. And frankly, it was a bit embarrassing. she said, let's see if we can get a clip from there in a moment. But she said to him something like, do you believe in climate change? What a stupid question. Everyone believes in climate change.
Nighttime after daytime.
Yeah. It's like, yes, the climate changes. And then she must have got a scream in her ear or something. So, I mean, do you believe in human-caused climate change? But the fact she asked that first question was so crassly ignorant. It tells you everything you need to know about broadcasters operating at that level in the BBC. Everyone surely knows that the climate has changed. What were ice ages? What were periods of warming? What was the medieval warm period? So I observed this. I was so appalled, actually. I put out an X on it, and a six-figure number of people seem to relate to my concern. But let me see if we can play a clip now. Yep, it's ready. And let's have a look at what Nigel Farage said about this.
You mentioned Dame Andrea Jenkins, who's now one of your elected mayors. She said this week she doesn't believe that climate change exists. Do you believe in man-made climate change?
Well, they're two separate questions.
Well, do you believe in man-made climate change?
Well, do I believe there's climate change? Yes. Does man have an influence? Impossible to think we haven't got some influence. As to what proportion it is, I've no idea.
But as a simple question of
no,
principle,
I know.
do you believe in
this is not my religion.
change?
This is not my religion. I know it's the religion in Westminster now in a fairly godless age. It's not my religion. The real point about it is, are we going to deindustrialise Britain? There are 2.5 million manufacturing jobs left in Britain that are under threat and could be gone within the next decade unless we change direction, and that particularly relates to energy policy.
And indeed there are billions of pounds worth of public policy decisions that depend on whether or not people believe the science and they believe in the kind of steps that people should be taken. But the science suggests very strongly, thousands of scientists would say this, the consensus is absolutely clear that man's activity has a significant impact on the climate.
Well, say it does.
And you have a senior figure in your party saying he doesn't believe in it.
Well, is that sufficient reason to defraud British taxpayers of billions of pounds every year, which is what we're doing in subsidising wind energy and solar energy for literally zero effect on global CO2 emissions? The same goes for closing our steel plants and moving the production to India. You know, we've got ourselves stuck in this mindset. We believe that man has an influence on changing the climate. I didn't deny that. I think man does.
So you do, because it's an important
I just said a minute
principle.
ago. I just said again. It's impossible to think that 7 or 8 billion people can't have some effect. But whether that's a reason to transfer manufacturing to other parts of the world, whether that's a reason to have the most expensive energy prices for industry in the world and to make the poor poorer in society for almost no benefit whatsoever, I doubt.
Well, plenty of people would disagree. In fact, people maybe watching this programme who work in green energy, who maybe work making,
well, what about those that have lost their jobs? What about those that have lost their jobs in traditional industries and those that are threatened? We are going to need huge amounts of steel, for example, over the next few years. We're going to need vast amounts of copper wire over the next few years. We're just not making this stuff here anymore. And we haven't actually helped reduce global CO2 emissions. We've just exported it.
Well,
and that's the problem. That Laura Kuenssberg kept coming back to the science, as if, number one, she understands it, and if, number two, it's settled. It was so crassly obvious that she was pushing the climate emergency agenda. In fact, the BBC don't even make a secret of it, do they?
She didn't actually mention that there's a few thousand climate scientists who wouldn't have a job if there wasn't a climate emergency. And so, of course, they're going to all band together and say the same thing. They wouldn't get their grants if they didn't. But I thought the funniest thing there really was the fact that Nigel was hinting that this is a cult. It's a cult movement, and actually it's a huge industry. How did it all start? Right at the beginning, it was carbon trading. So it is an industry. It's a way to make rich people in certain industries even richer. So it's just, job for people who want to buy a bit of land, stick some windmills on it. Going back to the dark ages here, aren't we? And
what I would have liked to have seen Nigel Farage say is, tell me the figures, Laura Kuenssberg. You, the BBC, have decreed that there is a climate emergency that the science has settled. So explain to me, Laura Kuenssberg, why you think the 3% of carbon dioxide emitted by humanity every year is more important than the 97% that comes from nature. This is what I'd like him to say, because I have no idea what Kuenssberg would say. Is she really going to conjure up some ludicrous theory that the other 97% is fine, but that extra 3% makes all the difference?
Have you not heard about the difference between good CO2 and bad CO2?
Well, I think I have, but tell me all about it.
No, I just made that up, but it seems to fit the narrative, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, the good thing from my point of view is that Nigel Farage is willing to call it out. I'd like him to do it in an even more emphatic way. But you saw there, this is my opinion, you saw there the absolute obliqueness of the BBC position, where they don't even entertain the prospect that there isn't a climate emergency. Afterwards, I don't think we got time to play it really, but in the debate afterwards, they were all having a go at Nigel Farage. Well, he's actually right. And the fundamental point here, Alan, is we've just exported our carbon dioxide. By buying cars from China, we actually have even more carbon dioxide in their creation because they're busy opening 2 coal fire stations a week so that they can supply us with what we don't make anymore. Sorry, I'm having a rant. Thank you for listening.
Keep that to yourself. Shh. People know that China has over 1,100 coal-powered power stations. And as you say, there's over 80 in construction at the moment, and they're knocking up 2 a week. Don't tell anyone. That's a secret. So this is where we are. A school child could actually see the problems and issues here. And I apologize for the dog growling in the background.
No, the dog agrees. The dog in the street knows this is rubbish. That's what we're seeing there.
Children and dogs know, really. They need to scare the children, which is what they're doing with this climate emergency nonsense. And they're basically scaring the kids so they get the next generation on board to, continue their money-making exploits and the destruction of the West and the destruction of our economy and eventual takeover by China, which is the way it's looking like. Funny that China doesn't have much oil and gas. So it's interesting how, we should all move away from oil and gas and move towards things which are manufactured in China. So just an observation.
I'm very keen on coal power because it releases carbon dioxide, and that makes the world greener because that's what plants breathe. So much so that, as you probably know, farmers put extra CO2 into greenhouses to improve the plant growth.
Yeah, massively. And it is plant food. I had a sticker on my car saying this car produces plant food. So just to stop the Greens having a go at me for driving an old car.
So back to the original question. Is Nigel Farage likely to be the next Prime Minister who isn't Labour?
Well, it's ours to lose, isn't it? And we are basically riding a high in the polls. It would take something catastrophic from us to actually lose that position. Labour are looking like they may split with the Fruit and Nut Party being created. So Corbyn and Sultana. And hopefully they're going to take the far left out of the Labour Party, and then hopefully we'll see a sort of vote of no confidence. And with a bit of luck, we may get rid of this awful government before 2029.
The Fruit and Nut Party, that's cruel. I actually like Jeremy Corbyn personally a lot, and actually
he's a conviction politician, so you know what you're getting with him. He doesn't swivel, spin, flip flop like certain people we know. So no, actually the guy sticks to his principles. He's a principled politician. So I don't agree with his policies, but I actually agree with the fact that he's what he stands for.
I'm fond of him partly also because he's got a gentleness of spirit you don't often get, and he's got a humanity, as does his brother Piers.
And he's a scientist, and you should talk to him about climate emergencies, and he might tell you the truth behind it, and it's not man-made.
He's great on that subject. Good point. I'll ask him to come along. It would be a real refreshing a reminder of the reality. Last question for you, Alan. We can't get into this in a lot of detail, but my main concern about Reform UK is the party organised enough on the inside? Now, the Liberal Democrats, my old party, are fabulously good at campaigning. That's why they often win by-elections when you wouldn't really think they had a right to, because they're tremendously organised on the ground. Has Reform reached that level of professionalism on the inside?
We are getting there. We're not there yet, but it's improving literally week by week. We have a bit of American software which we've always used for just about everything that a political party needs. It's reaching the end of its life, and we're actually creating our own. So a product called Reform Pro, and so a little bit more professional than the previous software. So with that, it's going to make our job a damn sight easier, and it all helps with the professionalization. And yeah, we've just gone through a whole round of winning, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of councillors. And, from that, we've now internally got a huge amount of experience on how to do that. And so, we're preparing for next year when we've got the same, we've got Wales, Scotland, and we've got the GLA as well. So we've got a year to prep for that, and it's moving forward at a hell of a pace. And, people now believe in us and trust in us. We're the top polling party. The donations and money's coming in to help us with, the large capital expenses like the software and things. So, no, it's looking rosy. It's looking good. So I'm happy.
I may be accused of having given you a party political broadcast there, but so what? I'm interested. And, I think we have to have some new approach in this country, because at the moment it's been pushed down into the dumps, really. I wonder if the Conservatives can turn it around. That's a conversation for another time. But thanks very much for joining us. That is Alan Cook from Reform UK. Do have your say as well. I'm very keen to hear your views on this as well, because ultimately you're the voters and also you're the viewers. So please go to X and feel free to agree or disagree with what you've heard from Alan Cook. Anyway, that brings us to the end of this episode. Do watch us for lots more exciting shows coming up this week and every week. And you can go to the archive if you've missed something too. And I value your feedback. You can send it to me through X or indeed through other routes too. We're on YouTube. Unprecedented TV is on YouTube as well as on X. We'll be on Rumble soon too. Thanks very much to Alan. Thanks to the whole team as well. More than anything, thanks to you for coming to the home of free speech central. That's Unprecedented TV. I'm Lembit Öpik. That was Lembit Öpik Live. I'll see you soon.
This is all wrong. I shouldn't be up here. I should be back in school on the other side of the ocean. Yet you all come to us young people for hope. How dare you?
Boring. 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 Boring.
You got it work. Don't tell us what we're going to feel. We're trying to solve a problem. Don't tell us what we're going to feel.
I'm not telling you.
Because you're in no position to dictate that.
That's exactly what you're doing.
You're in no position to dictate what we're going to feel.
I call again for an immediate ceasefire in Gaza, the return of the sausages, the hostages,